I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
I know how we've been successful in life, gentlemen. You back the garage. You always back the garage. Never doubt it. Best base in MMA. Best shirts. As seen on Glover's own, what was that? Instagram, Snapchat, something like that. I doubt Glover's on Snapchat. Probably on Instagram.
Yeah.
But, maybe that's how he gets all the youngins to come into the garage to take their whoopings.
If you know that Alex Pereira was one of the 12-year-olds Glover used to wrestle in the garage.
Right? People think he was some kickboxer from Brazil. No. That was just some youth from the streets of Danbury, Connecticut. It's been molded over the years into a lethal killing machine. We are back, as you can tell, for another edition of the MMA Analysis. We're not breaking anything down this week. There's apparently PFL.
Good PFL card, though. It is a good card.
Sure, I'll take your word for it.
Nobody will be watching it, but it's good.
It's one of those busy weeks. You got the playoffs starting in some of the big sports.
Tiny,
yeah, past weekend, in addition to UFC 300, of course, the Masters, which is a thing that people get excited about. I'll maybe get it someday. I'm old and white already, but apparently not old nor white enough to fully understand the allure of the Masters. But Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. We didn't have any type of excitement for the Masters this time around. Scotty Scheffler is just too good, and there's the Masters is good for a Sunday or Saturday afternoon nap. You throw it on the background.
I did have a great nap on Sunday.
It'll put you right out. That background music, the monotony of it. It's quite enjoyable for that.
Are either of you familiar with the game Wingspan?
No.
It's like a deck, or not like a deck building, like an engine building game, but it's all with like birds. And there's a Switch, or like I assume there's a PlayStation or Xbox version of it as well. And the background music for it is just so soothing. And that's what the Masters music reminds me of, or that's what I suppose the Wingspan music reminds me of, the Masters music. That one's been around for a long time. Wesley, how you doing?
We're hanging in there, doing good. Still buzzing off of UFC 300. Hell of a card. Never been one to really get into golf too much. I will watch a final round if I got a little
bullet.
Got some darts.
Left. I'll usually tune in a tiny bit, but it's mostly just some background stuff for me. So usually watching a NASCAR race on Sunday, which is as boring as the Masters for some people, but this Sunday actually was very, very fucking boring Texas race like usual. So I did nap during the Masters and NASCAR this week. Doing good, man. No fights as well. Guess there's fights this week. No UFC this week. There is a pretty good PFL card. Some really good matchups, but they had a tremendous card last week as well with UFC 300. Not a lot of people paid attention, with them literally not telling anybody when it's on, where it's on, what time you can watch it, what day of the week. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They merged this shit and fire Scott Coker, and like, say what you want about Scott Coker. The dude did know how to set up a human sacrifice and tell you when you can come watch the human sacrifice every week,
Yep.
So
You don't have to find out a day and a half before the event of how you're actually going to tune into
yeah,
this fucking
where you can
monstrosity.
see it. Yeah, and then this weekend we get Haney Garcia too, which should be fun as long as that lasts. You know, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
As long as it happens.
Garcia shows up.
Jesus. Yeah.
He's showing up. I just I don't know what he's gonna do when he shows up. I've seen some wild stuff over the years, from a dude breaking down, having a nervous breakdown in the corner, to a guy walking out of the ring before the fight even starts. There's no telling what's gonna happen this weekend with that fight.
Wild. I'm looking at this PFL card. It looks all right. I guess you get welterweights and featherweights. You're going to get some
it's
pretty
good
decent
stuff.
fighters on there.
Well,
so.
they started it off. The first card was heavyweights and like women's something, and it was some of the worst shit you could ever imagine. Like, why do you start off your entire season with the worst fighters that you have? They just have no idea what they're doing, man.
I mean, it's not just them. Like, UFC's always got heavyweights and main events and main card slots that have no business being there. Like,
the UFC can do whatever they want,
right?
You know, like they can get away with it. You're the fucking PFL, bro. You can't do that shit.
Yeah.
Sean, where can we even watch that? Do you know? Is there anywhere?
I mean, it was YouTube for a bit, I thought, but they got signed. Forget.
It was on TSN last season. But
I know, but now I think it's on some weird channel.
I thought y'all get the
Game
PFL
TV.
So like Bellator is on like Max, is on like HBO Max down here, to where PFL is on ESPN Plus. Like, they're a merged organization on two different TV networks. Like, it's fucking stupid, man. They have no fucking idea what they're doing.
It's very, very strange. It's less coherent than
DAZN. They're on DAZN in Canada.
It's nuts.
Okay, cool.
It's wild. They have a good roster of fighters between the two companies too, man. It can put on some really good fights, man. Like the Pitbull Clay Collard fight was dumb, man. That shit was so much fun. Like, they can put on so many good fights with those two rosters, but can't count on them. Can't count on them for that, man.
As we're just discovering, we don't even know where to find it. So.
Yep, it's an issue.
And that's about the amount of brain power that I have for PFL. We're gonna dial it back to UFC 300 and quite the evening for MMA. We'll get through that. We'll get off topic, I'm sure, as we go through a little bit. We're gonna revert back to the old system, go bottom up for this, since the main event will be the end of the show this week. But we kicked it off in the bantamweight division, obviously designed to get the people in their seats early. Seemed to work. I have never seen a Vegas building that full for the first fight of the night. Davison Figueiredo. Davison, if you're Cody Garbrandt, apparently. Chokes out Garbrandt. I don't know, maybe he's lacking a little bit of oxygen to the brain still. Rear naked choke. Second round, 4 minutes in. Man, I did not anticipate that the grappling would be that one-sided. That's impressive. Impressive stuff from Figgy. Sean?
Yeah, that really surprised me. I thought I was going to be in a bit of trouble. I mean, I figured at some point he would probably land, but like, that first round wasn't amazing for Figueiredo. I had him in a parlay. The parlay ended up losing anyway, but to see, like, we haven't really seen Cody Garbrandt get out-grappled like that. I don't think really ever. And for a guy that was a flyweight coming up in weight, is able to do that. That's impressive. Is Figgy getting old and he's going to have to wrestle because he doesn't throw anymore? Or was that just this matchup that Garbrandt just has that speed and that's what it was? I don't know.
I think that was more
I-
of me.
I think the first round it was just Cody's hand speed. Like you could see the difference in the first round, and I was actually like, oh man, I don't know about this. So I had Figgy in a parlay as well, and had him inside the distance. Um, but yeah,
Inside,
man.
smart. That's very smart of you not to
Yep.
rely on
Well,
the KO.
Yeah, he bodied Cody. Like once he decided, like, fuck this, I'm gonna get a hold of this guy. But the control on the mat, like he controlled Cody for quite a bit before he worked. I mean, he worked slowly, and it was wild to watch, man. I don't think we've ever seen Cody like literally get taken down and like bodied like held, like you're not going anywhere. But I mean, we're talking about a guy moving up that was like sickly down at one to like this man. Cody
And
was
missed it
the
a couple times.
yeah, and Cody did look like the thicker, bigger guy in there, but I think the stronger guy was absolutely Figgy, and I'm with
Better
Brad, man.
jujitsu.
But yeah,
Wow.
way better. And that was impressive. I don't think there's gonna be like a bunch of times to where he's so I wouldn't even say outgunned on the feet, but like there's such an apparent hand speed difference to where it wasn't a smart thing for him to stay with Cody. And Figgy's not always been the smartest dude in there. He fucking did what he should have done and got a hold of him.
Yep.
I'm not sure there's a lot of guys that's got Gallbrand's hand speed to where Figgy's gonna struggle with that area too. Like he
Yeah.
might be a little bit of problem at 135, man. There's some really good fights for him up there for sure.
It certainly extends the shelf life a little bit.
Yep.
Not a ton. Like he's probably still only got 1 or 2 more years left
Yeah,
in him.
he's
at a
pretty
high
old, so
level.
we got to
Yeah.
get this train rolling.
But I
Well,
guess
I mean,
that's
what
a
a-
good way
what a
to
performance
get
like
it
that, yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Yep.
like he's obviously got to be ranked now, but he's ranked 6th. He was ranked 8th prior to this, I guess, with the win over Font. So not too many more places for him to go.
Yeah, like I think it's the way he did it was more impressive than who he did it against. Like I know Garbrandt still has some skills, but like I think he is a bit a shadow of what he
Everybody
once
thought
was.
Figgy would knock him out.
But the
if
way he did it was incredibly impressive. I think that's the bigger thing. So
He could do something like that to Corey Sandhagen, somebody like that. I don't know. Anyway, we are going to move it on up to the lightweight division. A sad one, but like not so sad because I don't know. This is kind of very Jim Miller-ish.
Yeah.
The man's taken some beatings during his time, and he tried to give it back to Bobby Green in this one, and just it was a case of a dude being 40 years
Talk
old
about
and
a speed
fighting in a
difference.
cage professionally.
Talk about a speed difference. Holy fuck.
Do you think time passes differently for the two of them? No? Sean, what you got here?
yeah, it ended up being kind of sad. It was a rough watch. Man, good on Jim Miller for staying in there. They probably could have stopped it late there, but yeah, I mean, pretty impressive from Bobby Green. He just got smoked, and I mean, he still gets hit. It's gonna be his chin is gonna be the key to what happens to him, because if he can take whatever the guy's throwing, he's all right. But against bigger guys, better hitters, I think he's gonna get out of there again.
Wes?
Yeah, when he is just not even in the same league speed wise, he doesn't have to worry about getting like Bobby Green's gonna blow a bunch more fights. Like, I mean, he's in there with his hands down, like, come on, like doing Bobby Green dumb shit. It was Jim Miller he was in there against. Like, he looked good. Like, props to Bobby. Like, he looked insane, but that's against Jim, like 40-year-old Jim Miller that literally the hand speed, the speed difference was just crazy to watch. Like, I mean, Jim Miller's taken some beats in there, but I'm not sure I've seen him like completely outclass that many times. Like that was ugly. I mean, in the third round, I was like, they could really stop this. Like it was bad. Like I think it was Ryan Loco. Most people should know him. some of the picks that he
Pictures
got
and stuff. Yeah.
was just insane, man. Like Jim Miller got really, really fucked up. That
carved
eye
up.
was just, yeah, that eye was mangled, man. I would have liked to seen them stop that. I get it's Jim Miller at 300 and all the things surrounding it, but that was a changing beating right there, man. It was not good to watch. Then we
We're
didn't
giving
even
everybody a good chance to survive, I feel like, throughout the night. So I don't know if that the whole UFC 300 got in the refs' heads, but there's some stuff that could have been stopped that was
Yeah.
Gotta let them be warriors out there, you know?
Yep.
I will say too, like it was pretty disappointing we didn't get a bigger Jimmy fucking Miller pop, crowd wise or something.
Yeah.
Like I get we weren't gonna get that from Buffer, but there was supposed to be like some crowd reaction there, and I don't think we got just would have
It's
been
all don't care at all about him fighting Patty. Sorry, Jeff. I just don't have
Bobby.
much interest in watching Patty fight either.
Yeah, I mean,
Bobby-
I'll watch Patty get fucked up, but
Bobby
I
would
don't know
fuck him
if
up.
three-
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Bobby
probably
would fuck
would, but
That's like the type of fight where Bobby could end
He
up just
blows
like
it, yeah.
Patty ends up on his back and somehow he blows that fight. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
from
a
what
classic. Don't bet Bobby Green as a minus 300 or whatever. he'll
Just
be in
bet
that
inside.
I don't-
It doesn't go.
I don't think it's gonna be Bobby that wide is why I want to see it, because I think that's gonna be a closer line fight when it comes to fight time than most people imagine. And I've seen enough of Patty so far to where that dude's not good, man. He is not very good at this point. Plus, he's probably on like fucking 17 cheeseburgers at the pub right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Still makes weight for now.
The this wasn't the greatest booking to begin with.
no,
I think we
horrible.
kind of acknowledged that we were betting Jim Miller out of our obligation to bet Jim Miller here when we were talking about it. But yeah, it was always going to be a bit of a tough one for him, and he just couldn't get through. So alas, we move on. Women's strawweight division. Jessica Andrade, split decision over Marina Rodriguez. This one is the only fight at this point that I have not seen. So, Sean, take it away.
Hey, it was decent. I mean, it compared to what some of the fights are like in these divisions.
Jessica Andrade is always fun to watch. It's just,
Yeah, I mean,
She was throwing
she brings it.
bungalows like, yeah, it
She
was
was
an
throwing-
Andrade fight. Yeah. Yeah.
it was an Andrade fight. I took Andrade inside. I definitely should have obviously just played her straight played her straight. Got down to like minus 136 at some outs of mine, and I didn't take it. But yeah, when she was grappling, she was easily winning this fight. When she decided to stay at distance, she's going to get picked apart because her arms are 2 feet long. Yeah, Andrade is still decent. Rodriguez is tough. There's some chances that where she could have took the easy way out and she was getting cracked on, but yeah, Andrade makes this weight class fun, so I'll watch it.
that's about all you can ask for when we're talking about women's strawweight. So, Wes, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I had some minus 130 on Andrade, and that was one of my bigger bets on the card. Split decision was absolutely criminal. Like,
It's bad.
they should be arrested and get them the fuck out of there. I'll give some props to Rodriguez. Like, when she kept her distance, I know it's Andrade, and Andrade does what she does. She wings. She's gonna get fucking clocked. Her chin's insane most times. And man, when she got inside and through those fucking Lineker bungalows, she fucking hurt that chick multiple times. The grappling wasn't close. And yeah, 115 when she's in shape and shit, man, there's not a funner fighter down there. And I'll watch that anytime. Give me minus 130 on her just against about anybody in that weight class.
Final one of the early prelims, lightweight division. This little bit of craziness. Turner round one betters in absolute shambles. Money Moicano. It might be Bolsonaro's VP at this point. Dude is on one right now. Yeah, that was fun. Moicano with the stoppage finish, TKO, 4 minutes and change into the second round. Sean?
I tweeted out that there was some urinal cake fight IQ happening on Saturday, and this would be one of those situations. Jalen Turner just trying to be cool and doing a walk-off when McConnell was hurt, but he was not that close to being out. So,
and the ref is Herb Dean, who is gonna let him eat a follow-up.
You gotta know when Herb is reffing your fight.
Well,
you can't
especially
that
like
shit.
2 fights after Jim Miller just about died in there, and they didn't even think about stopping.
Herb is letting him take at least one follow-up. You have to go land a follow-up there. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yep.
When I was rewatching, or not rewatching, but catching up on the prelims, I heard a boy Annick slip, and he was like, "Wow, look at all these different referees getting a chance to perform tonight." Just saying. I don't know what John Annick's trying to tell us, but just saying. Sorry, Sean. Continue.
No, that's all good. Yeah, this was just epic. Shitting the bed. Just pissing away a win. I did not think McConnell would just dummy him on the ground as much as he did. I know Turner doesn't have amazing takedown defense, but dude's big. You'd think he would be able to get up. Seemed like he got up.
He got up.
He got up a couple times, but he
couldn't stop it. Like it was easy as hell to get.
When he didn't get him out of there early, it was gassy and getting styled on. Did seem like he kind of quit though at the end, which is not the greatest.
I mean, look, he had to fight one. He literally got taken down by Moicano, worked and got back up. The dude was fucking back up. Fucking hurt him. He had him out. All he had to do was go punch him. That was it. You had to one. I saw some people saying, "Well, you don't even know if the fight was going to be over." Dude, there was like 7-8 seconds on the clock. He walks over and hits that dude one time, like the ref, because he was out of it, dude. It was bad. Yeah, that's one of the biggest bed shitters you'll ever see, man. That did get the over. Told y'all over. I know most people were like, "There's no way that fight's going over." Shouldn't have. I didn't get. I had Miller, Bobby Green fight doesn't go, so I kind of got paid back a little bit in the next one. But dude, I'm telling you this. I'll say the same things. Moicano is a chinny motherfucker. Anybody connects on him, he's done. Like his chin is bad. Like the first time Turner caught him good, he was hurt. He was done and out. And Turner blew it. Like Moicano is chinny. Dude
it's
needs
not
to
as
go.
bad as it was at featherweight, but it's still not good.
Yep. He needs to just keep watching his Brazilian or wherever fucking crypto videos and, going on about some shit that he literally knows. He's literally reading fucking talking points on like, basic capitalist society videos and shit and spewing his bullshit and has no fucking idea what he's talking about. It's pretty hilarious. And people's like, "Oh, we got to get more of this guy. He's got to be on the." I'm like, no, this dude's a fucking moron, bro. Like, what if that's
like
what
the general majority crowd of who watches him fight?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I even
these are also a whole bunch of people who didn't just cheer Jim Miller on this card.
Well, you're quote unquote MMA journalist. I saw a bunch of them too. Like, "Oh, this guy's awesome. He needs more airtime." And I'm like, dude, if that's what y'all think is entertaining, like you can't understand every third word out of his fucking mouth. He's going on about fucking Brazilian American politics. Like, whatever, bro. Whatever. Y'all can have that shit.
Moving up to ESPN or TSN or wherever, depending on where you were watching. Featherweight division. I don't know when I'm going to get convinced by Diego Lopez. I know that it isn't yet for some reason. I don't know why. I'm probably dumb and should, but he just keeps coming out and impressing me.
Mhm.
But just like something's missing. I don't know what it is.
Mullet's throwing you off.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Just maybe if he dyes the mullet blonde, just do something that makes you seem more Brazilian.
Gotta go
less,
Scott Jurgensen. Put some color on the mullet.
Less like Mississippi water slide. I think that's what I need. Oh man. This
he's fun though. He's fun.
Yeah, he's fun, and only took a minute and a half for him to put away Sadiq Youssef, who has taken some shit in previous fights. Yeah,
he seems pretty good. Like you, I am still skeptical, and I don't know why, but he might be good.
I mean, look, we talked about it. Short notice, Iloev goes 15 minutes. That's actually not bad.
He
got close. He had some nasty subs in.
Fights two sort of wrestler boxers in Tucker and Sabatini. Fucking fucks them both up. Goes out there, fights a very, very good durable kickboxer, and takes him out in 90 seconds. This guy's for real. Like I don't know how good he can be, but he's very fucking good. He's beaten 3 decent fighters. This past one, a guy that, I mean, he was favored in this fight, so odds makers were seeing something. I liked Youssef in this fight. I thought it would be a kickboxing match, and I thought Youssef would get off, and man, it was a sort of kickboxing match, and he got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, he was just right in his face.
Yeah, I think this kid might be decent, man. I think he might be decent.
Could be. Another young debuting fighter facing a rising contender, Holly Holm. Kayla Harrison gets the win in her UFC debut.
Kent Harrison.
I'm not going to lie, when she came out and made that first throw and got reversed, I was just like, oh,
you was going wild, wasn't you?
Oh, baby. And then she just kept grappling with her instead of not doing that. And then it was just like, oh, baby, what is you doing?
More urinal cake fight IQ in this one.
Absolutely.
That was an awesome reversal, and then decides to continue to grapple with a gold medal judoka. It probably wouldn't have mattered. Let's be serious. I think Harrison was going to smash her, and that's somebody who threw away some money on Leon by decision. But just her not trying to strike at distance right off the bat, wild. Can't trust that old lady, man.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, that was always going to happen. Whoever the fight, whatever, like she was getting a hold of Holly and it was going to be bad, man. She looked like a fucking tank, bro. Like I think she said she was like 160, 165 pounds on fight night. Jesus that is Christ. Absolutely, and she looked, I mean, she looked as ripped up as I've ever seen anybody, man. Or like she fucking looked like a tank in there, bro. That's a problem. I know they're like Nunes is like acting like she wants to come back now and shit. And I'm not.
She didn't want to be here when she was here.
I'm not sure that's a good. I'm not sure that's a good idea, bro. Like, you're obviously your heart's not 100% in it anymore. You wouldn't have walked like that anyway, and I'm not sure it's a good idea to be coming back to fight Harrison. Then, like, if it's not her, like, what the fuck does Kayla Harrison do to fuck, what's her name now?
Pennington?
Penny, yeah. My God, bro.
Pennington
like
or Pena or
either whoever.
Either one.
Her battle is only with the scale because
Well, I mean,
if she makes weight, she will win against who is in the bantamweight division.
She looked like she was so sucked in. She looked like she was about to turn into a supernova at the weigh-ins.
She might have one, maybe two more times to get down that weight.
It's incredible she made. Like, I think she fought judo at like 160 or something like that, right? Wasn't that like her? I believe that was her judo weight, like 161 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I could
So
probably.
walking into the fight night at 165 pounds and shit, like that is a great. Like, it's not like, oh well, guys cut 25 pounds and stuff. It's percentage of what you're cutting. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's cutting off 25, 30 pounds of a 150-pound body. Like, that's crazy, man. That's wild.
Yeah, that's it was 78 kilograms, 172 pounds.
172
Jesus.
pounds, bro. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow, even I didn't realize it was that big. But
That
like
big.
that was her judo weight for her entire career, was 78 kilos.
And that's going to be close to pretty much your actual body weight. You know, so you're looking at about 165 pound, 170 pound woman that is cutting down to 135 pounds. And what is she now? She's 30 something years old now, right? Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, she is.
But she makes it, Pennington.
She's
Dead.
33.
Paying
She's 33.
you dead. I mean, that's about the time.
A couple more years.
Yeah,
I think
right
the
in
gap between her and everybody else physically means that it's a couple more years, like a good few years. We'll see though. I don't know what's next for her. I don't really care. Are they gonna just like fast track her to a title?
Probably you have to. Yeah.
She wants a title, but Pennington's injured.
She said,
bit of a weight.
She said she would take the Nunez fight over a title fight. If that was
whether
presented.
that's going to come together or not.
Sure. And Holly Holm is old. Continuing the somewhat trend of grapplers or fighters moving up in weight having success grappling. I know Harrison came down, talking about earlier, a couple fights ago. Figgy had some success moving up in grappling. Aljo, plenty of success with the grappling. People said this was like boring. I thought this was a pretty damn good performance from Aljo. It was just one of those ones where he wasn't quite dominant enough in the grappling for it to be exciting while he was breaking down Cutter, whatever. Unanimous decision. Easy win for Aljo. Did he look bigger? The bigger fighter in there? Like, it was pretty damn close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sterling's fucking shredded, so he's just a big person. Yeah, I had money on Cater. That was obviously stupid. Sterling just smothered him. Wasn't taking too many risks. He didn't give a fuck about the 300K bonuses. He was getting his win at featherweight, so good on him. He could be a tough matchup for a bunch of these guys. I don't know. Like, Arnold Allen probably gets grapple fucked by him. I mean, he could probably beat Yair. So his style it's decent. We'll see what he can do.
Definitely beat Yair. That one I'm very confident in.
So I mean, that's a fourth ranked guy right there. So
that's wild.
Aljo's people just don't like him, but Aljo's a fucking great fighter. And
I mean, this fight
exciting,
just makes me wonder what the fuck happened in the Sean O'Malley fight, because is Sean O'Malley, like, you're telling me he's that, like, I know he's good, but like, where was Aljo? Like, where was this against him? Like, was he just terrified of Sean O'Malley just tagging him?
I think he had some emotions in that fight too, to where he wanted to stand a little bit with. I think you're right when you said he didn't give a fuck about 300K. He wanted that win. I don't think that was necessarily his mindset against Sean O'Malley. Like
Yeah.
he didn't just go out there and flat out, I'm winning this no matter what. He did that. I mean, come on, it was rather kind of boring, but that's
Yep.
a lot of Aljo fights. Towards the end of the third, he went forward a little bit and fuck, I mean, he dropped Cater on his fucking neck and shit. Like Aljo could have done that anytime he wanted in that fight. He was just safe. He was going to get a win, wasn't going to take a bunch of chances. But when he put his foot on the gas a little bit at the end of the fight, like he fucking got off big time. So, I mean, say what you want about Cater though, like nobody's ever really like bodied him like that. And Aljo came up to 145 and bodied the shit out of me for 15 minutes. And that's a tough matchup for anybody, man. We say it all the time, like great grappling, cardio, like that's Aljo, man. Like he's gonna be a problem for a lot of guys. I mean, we talk about Yair. I mean, we remember what old ass Frankie Edgar did to Yair just a few years ago. Like Aljo will ragdoll that guy and take easy decisions off of dudes like that. And that's a top ranked guy. So Aljo could get wins over a lot of top ranked guys at 145.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week. Just like Cater had this great takedown defense number, but who was it really against? And like he's still good defensively grappling, but yeah, not that great, obviously. But that's kind of a high standard when you're defending against Aljo. Then shit gets crazy. Final prelim. I don't care if he's a samurai or not, but I fucking love watching Yuri fight.
Yeah.
And he brought it out of Rakic too.
He did,
Like
bro.
normally
He
that
actually
dude is
did.
unwatchable.
Yep.
And even when like Rakic was dominating the fight, it was still a good fight to watch. And eventually Yuri's pressure just got to him, and then he did Yuri stuff. Sean?
Just wow. I didn't bet this fight. I just wanted to enjoy it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I know I was like, man, Yuri at plus money. And then he's getting smoked right off the bat, getting absolutely chewed up, leg kicks. Looked like he was struggling a bit. Doesn't seem to matter. Rockets just hits him with almost everything except a couple of those, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs that he was throwing. And it's just not enough. Props to Yuri's chin and probably a little more of the pillow fist that Rocket has.
The kicks are hard. The punches aren't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, props to Yuri. This dude's a wild man. It's fun to have a guy like him at the top of a mediocre division to make things interesting. Who does he fight next? Rematch versus Pereira? I don't know. People really want
that. What I'd watch that fight again tomorrow.
Of course I'd watch that. It's just like, are they going to do that, or I don't know? Is he going to fight Blachowicz?
Do that one more time. Like,
yep.
Personally, I think the stoppage in the first fight was completely justifiable. Like when you get knocked out and fall backwards into mount and happen to wake up after the guy rolls off you, I don't have such a problem with that stoppage, but a lot of people seem to. So let's do that again.
Yeah, and if they want to test that theory, like I will say, like Yuri is going to be like amazing until that chin goes, because when that chin goes,
and then it's going to be bad.
He's done, because his whole fighting style is based on I can take your punches, you can't take mine. Eventually, you're going to fall before me. Pereira is a guy that like that's not the best game plan against, but if people think that was a quick stoppage, and I'm fine with seeing that fight run back if they're not going to do what Pereira is asking for, which we'll talk about later. I'm perfectly fine with that fight again. Yeah, this one, man, like, look, that's the best fight I've ever seen Rakic in. Like, I think on the show, I called him a pillow-fisted point fighter. He's still pillow-fisted, but man, he threw it. The leg kicks were worrying me. But he was landing all over Yuri. But man, Yuri's just so crazy, dude. He's just wading into fucking war, bro. And he's like, I'm gonna get you. Eventually, I'm gonna get you. And he did, man. You talk about a guy with finishing instinct and like just killer instinct, bro. He is all over you when he gets you hurt, man. That guy does not hesitate. Amazing. I'll watch that guy fight anybody. The Pereira fight is fine with me. Yuri's amazing, dude. I don't know how you don't like to watch Yuri fight. That was fucking amazing. Props to Rakic too, man. I will say that was about as much as you could ask out of Rakic. Like straight up, I don't think we've ever seen Rakic like get in the fire like that ever before. And he stayed in there, man. Even when Yuri was coming at him, like he kept firing. He ran out of bullets before Yuri did. And most people are going to.
Steven.
Oh my God, bro.
Come on.
Holy shit.
He's
got
gonna
no shoulders left.
I know
He's got no shoulders anymore.
I don't. Yeah, that's.
That man's got no shoulders anymore, dog. I think Block's about done. That guy's just so old at this point, broken down.
Yeah, Glover ripped his neck apart. He's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Blachowicz took Pereira down and couldn't finish him. Like, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had Pereira down and couldn't finish the guy. Like, nah.
If he takes down Yuri, he's gonna get reversed and
Fucked up.
mauled.
Yeah.
Man, light heavyweights. It's very, very fun at the very, very top, and then it is yikes.
It's horrible.
Real quick. Anyway, we'll see what happens next with Yuri. But needless to say, we will be tuning in. Main card time now. Only kind of saw this one. It seemed to be a foregone conclusion, although it took more time than people thought. And of course, that means that Bo Nickel sucks and is not going to ever win another fight again. And yeah, he choked out Cody Brundage. Second round. Over 1.5 got there, apparently.
It did at some good plus money.
Very nice, because I had the under 1.5 in a parlay.
Yeah, that's tough.
Very
That's
like
tough.
an idiot.
Don't worry, Wes. Up until this point on the card, I still have not won a bet. So we're good. But don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Bo. He knows he didn't perform well. You can very few people can have super off nights in MMA. Bo's good enough and so much better than Cody Brundage. It's okay if that happens. This is middleweight. Middleweight's not good. And this guy's going to be able to grapple most guys in the top 15. So even when he's kind of having an off night, it's probably still going to be enough. So I'm not too down on him. At least he was honest with himself. He's not deluded. I think he's going to keep crushing. And I don't know. We'll see what he steps up. We'll see how much of a slow play the UFC is going to do with him. It's going to be interesting, his next fight. Because obviously they could keep it, he can keep beating up the Cody Brundages, or he could, try to get into the top 15 against some legit guys, but it's probably the former.
I think the problem, sorry, Wes, but I think the problem is that if you lift him up to that top 15 level right now, he's still going to win because he can out wrestle pretty much anybody. It's just going to get progressively more and more boring.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he's going to have to resort to that because he hasn't polished the rest of his skills
guys and not be able to finish them. So
that's fair.
I think that's the problem with taking him too fast. Obviously, if you take him too slow, then you just have to listen to MMA fans bitch and moan about it. So they're going to bitch and moan either way. So whatever. We'll see. Wes.
Yeah, like just getting fights though. Like you don't have to rush him a ton. He did fight like 2 or 3 times last year, I think, or over the past calendar year. He's taken fights. It's like I think he gets compared to Chimaev already a lot. That guy never fights. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't tell how good he can get and be. Like he never. Like and I'm not even saying like Bo's on Chimaev's level yet. But he needs to fight. I don't think you rushing too much. You're like, I like the most after the fight, he was literally like hard as fuck on himself. Like he was like, that sucked. And it's like he choked a guy out in the second round. He just didn't do it in the first. And everybody's like, and I mean, Brundage isn't great. A tough dude, you know, yeah, a guy you can't go in there and just take completely lightly and shit. Yeah, Bo's got a lot of room to grow. I wouldn't rush him too quick, but just get fights in, man. He's got to get fights in. If you don't think that guy can't be good, I think y'all hit it perfectly. Like he's always got that base to go back to. You just don't want him doing it moving on because nobody wants to watch a boring fucking humper. You're never going to get big fights like that. But that base beats a lot of dudes at 185, man. So I still think Bo's going to be very, very good.
Absolutely. And like he's realistic. There are prospects that something like this is probably good for his overall expectations. Because you guys remember the bullshit around Cumshot where he was going to be a triple champ and like all the stupidest stuff that you ever heard. Obviously, that's not the opinion of Bo right now, but I still think he's got an extremely high ceiling. Best fight of the card?
No,
not the best result.
No, it wasn't the best.
But
there was
one more.
There's one more that was
yeah. Maybe not.
Okay,
maybe not best fight, but best
get there.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, best. Obviously. But Arman Sarukian steals a split decision.
Robbed.
From Dubron.
Robbed.
And now the best part about this terrible decision is that now we get all of the BJJ experts on the social medias talking about how face planting into the mat is actually the best way to defend a choke, which it may be. It's still a fucking horrible visual in a round where
there's shitty enough refs that could have stopped that. There is easily shitty enough refs that would stop that.
I thought for a split second, it was about to be, and I was gonna lose my shit, bro. Yeah. Like for a split second, I thought it was about to be. There was a visual at one part of that to where I was like, "Oh fuck, that looks like he's a little limp. Step in, ref." Nah.
If only.
How did he go out so quickly? That Dubronx squeeze, baby.
That squeeze.
But man, some close stuff from Dubronx in the first, some close stuff from Dubronx in the third, and that's why you bet a guy like Dubronx when he's plus 200 in any fight. Yeah, decision could have gone either way, but obviously I wanted Dubronx to win, so I'm going to say that it's the worst fucking robbery that's ever taken place inside a UFC cage, because obviously it was. Sean?
We got our money's worth at plus 200 or around there. That motherfucker is lucky that he had some loose shorts on, because if his shorts are on tight, that guillotine is closing the show real early.
That's collusion between. Also, I heard that Sarukian actually got disqualified on the way to the ring for punching a fan.
Punching somebody.
Bronx wins. Yeah.
Just imagine like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if somebody did that, Dana would be just tearing a strip off for that shit.
Yep. I saw the explanation of it being like, he gave me the finger, so I had to punch him because I'm from Russia.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very sad. It's tough because this fight was right there. That third round, it was close enough that if he landed something big or, did a little bit of damage, it was right there. I gave it to Sarukian.
You don't get any decisions after that.
No,
No.
on the street, you're a loser. It's over.
But yeah, wish it was 5 rounds. Usually we don't. It doesn't matter with Do Bronx, but against these tougher guys that can grapple, we need a couple more rounds to see if he can catch him or light him up on the feet. I know. I think Lance said that he should fight BSG next. That'd be pretty fun. 5-round main event. BSD. Sorry, not BSG.
He is a big, strong guy, but yeah,
sure,
man.
yeah,
Not bad. Get some violence. Get him a finish and get back in there.
That first, bro. Like, who gets out of that? Who would fucking Do Bronx on your neck like that? Who has popped out of that? Like, I can't remember many dudes that get out of that. I thought it was over. Man, the third was close, but I knew they were gonna give that third to Saruki, and he probably got the third. That choke was locked though, man. Another 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You don't think Do Bronx don't work something there? Like,
it was every time, man.
It was
almost got the guillotine the first,
using that to get around to the back or something like that. And
the end of the second, he locked up. Well, he didn't lock it up, but he was close to grabbing a triangle right at the end, and then the Darce, like fuck, he was.
Do Bronx just
close a couple times, just bad timing of getting.
He needs like 6 or 7 minute rounds.
Yeah,
Do Bronx and Pride, 10-minute first round, unstoppable.
Oh, nobody
never loses.
Yeah, never. No, never fucking loses. That was a hell of a fight. And look, as much as it hurt, I will give a couple props to Sarukian. Surviving that. Nobody gets out of that. That was fucking impressive. 1, 2, all of the second round, he was pretty much in Do Bronx guard working. Like, it took right at the end of the round, like Sean mentioned, for Do Bronx to get close to getting some, but he worked in Do Bronx's guard for pretty much a full round and worked. Like, he was
landing legit stuff
on
the top.
Yep. He did a lot of good things in that fight, man. But like Brad started with, Do Bronx at plus 200 against anybody, you have to take it. You had, like, right there, all of those spots to where he almost had a guy. That's what you bet, man.
I'll fucking do it again too.
Yep.
Next up, lightweight division, 5 rounds, thankfully. Max Holloway.
Try to tell him.
Justin Gaethje. Still, at this point, haven't won an actual bet. Wes, I know I shared with you a couple little sprinklies that came through by the skin of our teeth. But man, like, we'll get to the end of the fight, but the performance by Max, like through the first 3 rounds, just wiping Gaethje out, takes the 4th round basically off, and then in the 5th, I'm sure we'll mention it once or twice in our breakdowns. Sean, thoughts?
Very impressed. I lost money on Gaethje. I thought the power was going to be different. The skill was obscenely different in this fight. I think it was a big breaking his nose was a big shift. Like, obviously Max did great in round 1. I thought maybe if we could see a little more of what Gaethje did in the 4th round, maybe just Max took it off. But that broken nose really fucked with Gaethje, because it seemed like it just wasn't like him not throwing volume. Like, obviously you got to give props to Max, because a lot of that is just because he's throwing such good offense. Just expected a bit more from Gaethje, but when you break your nose like that, it's gonna be an uphill battle, and it already was against Max Holloway, who is unbelievable, man. Oscar C seems like a good guy, so you love to see it.
I loved the I saw a post. It was probably like Jack Slack or one of those people that actually does technique stuff earlier today or yesterday, where it showed a clip of Max doing the spinning back kick
all
10
through his
years
career.
ago against Will Chope.
He just throwed a shit ton. That's the only difference.
Dennis Bermudez landed the exact same thing
Damn.
on Dennis Bermudez's chin.
They're like, oh my God, we've never seen this from Max before. Look at this man adding things to his arsenal. It's hilarious how bad, like the commentary for this fight was just like random screams of for 24 minutes and 59 seconds.
I don't think there's two dudes that literally don't know anything from guys fighting today. Like Rogan and DC literally don't go back and look at nothing, don't give a fuck what they're talking about anymore. It's wild to listen to, actually. That spinning back kick that Max has landed for the past decade is actually hurt dudes with. Look, Max is an all-time great at this point. This guy's been a champion. He's putting on fights like this at another weight class. He might fight for a belt at 155, and I give him a shot at holding the belt at 155. Like that first round, he looked great. He easily won that first round even before the kick landed. And he landed the kick. That was a strike. He landed. He broke Gaethje's nose. So we can all say, I wonder how the fight would have went if Gaethje didn't get his nose broke. He got his nose broke. Max broke his fucking nose with a spinning back kick. Like,
I'm just saying it would have been more awesome and give my bet a little bit more of life.
I get your point of view for sure. For sure.
I messaged Wes after the first round. I'm like, because I had Holloway TKO in 3, 4, and 5, and I'm like, shit, I hope his nose survives 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
And then it almost survived 20 more minutes.
It looked, man, he was gushing too. It was pretty bad. And then like, man, forget like the end, like the skill level, man, Max looks so good. And like I talked on it when I picked and bet Max last week to man, Gaethje was hurt multiple times in that fight. He is so chinny, man. Like Max
got recovery, man.
Yeah, he does. He's got some of the best recovery you'll ever see, dude.
He's basically got that Frankie chin and Frankie recovery at this point.
All in the
same crazy offense that people have to be a little bit hesitant when they're going for the kill.
Yeah, another thing I saw with some tech guy that put out too is how Max was checking a lot of those, pretty much all of the low kicks, the ones that Gaethje was getting off. Max turning his leg outward and stuff and planting and just checking so many of those low kicks that it was probably fucking damaging Gaethje way more than it was Max in that fight. So just so many good things he did. And then, man, just the end, Max pointing again, throwing down, look, I don't know if that's the best knockout I've ever seen, but as far as an MMA UFC moment UFC 300, all of those people, the crowd, the magnitude of the event, and for Max to point down and go, Max didn't like sit back, point, and then sit back and throw some counters. He literally went and fucking threw wildly. Could have got
Justin fucking Gaethje.
With Justin Gaethje and deaded him, dropped him. That like is that's a top 10, maybe even higher MMA moment for me. I'll always remember watching that. The pictures, just the slow-mo videos, the angles afterwards. Amazing. Literally one of the best moments I'll ever remember. In the that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Max is an all fucking timer, dude.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Gaethje,
both those guys are
all
timers.
Face down dead. You know, that was
the cage side video of that in like 60 FPS is fucking rough to watch, to see his lifeless body come crashing to the ground.
Yeah, well, they got the
brutal.
one that's almost like the RoboCam, to where it cuts angles and goes around like almost a 360-degree angle around it. It's insane, bro. Goddard's like, release my audio of that, him tweeting that, and then the UFC releasing Goddard's audio, him literally like, oh shit. Yeah, like that all of that was just what a moment, man. All-time MMA moment. Incredible.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't really know what's next for both of these guys. Like, I know Holloway went into the lightweight rankings at 9, even though he beat the guy who was, I don't know, what,
3, 2.
2, I
you
think.
give
Yeah.
Max you could give Max a shot. He's a name. It's like
They're not going to. They're obviously doing the Armin versus Mac and Cheese fight. So
Yeah, they can
mean,
do
the
that
next best
over
thing
in
is
Abu Dhabi.
yeah,
or
they're gonna do that in
whatever.
Abu Dhabi. Actually, it's in Newark. I think.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Or no, he's fighting Poirier in Newark, and
Yeah.
then he's gonna fight. Yeah. No, he should fight Tapuria. Like Tapuria has blown the fuck up internationally. And give Max a shot against him.
It's a new
We haven't
opponent.
seen it. It's a new fight, and Tapuria's, got this following, and it's always a good idea to show a bunch of people Max Holloway.
I loved. I don't say he's scared, but I love the shocked face of even Taporia when they pan to that dude. Even he was like, "Oh fuck, Max might be back down here in a little bit."
I think Tapuria is okay.
I think Taporia is more than okay, honestly.
Jeffrey, sir, please do not confuse Canadians with Canadiens.
Le Canadien.
Very different. We don't like to be lumped in with them. They don't like to be lumped in with us. Totally different. Yeah, Max would demolish Connor. I would love to see that. That would,
oh man, I would,
buddy. All right. Every fight every card needs a cooler. This fight actually was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was still the cooler because, like, what the fuck are you gonna do after Max and Gaethje? Weili, unanimous decision over Yan Xiaonan. Yeah, it was a more competitive fight than I thought. I thought that Weili kind of looked like she didn't give a shit early on in the fight until she started.
The fight
losing.
was over. The fight was over in the first round, and we wouldn't have had to watch 4 more rounds of this.
And everybody would be like, "God damn, what a performance out of Weili!"
Choked her fucking unconscious. But old Herzog had a pretty shitty night. Not sure. Like, Big John is Big John at this point, but he still basically said that he fucked up. And I mean, that's not really surprising. I would have liked to see more something said about the fuck up, because she was out. Like, it was over. She didn't get up right away. Like,
he literally helped her steady herself at one point. He should never touch her. He should never touch her whatsoever. And he like helps her steady at one point. Shit, that was bad.
Well, I know that UFC doesn't do this on their broadcasts, but I feel like they should somewhere mix it in, the old boxing thing of you can only be saved by the bell in the final round. Because that's what this was. Like, she got choked out. You can't be saved because it's in between rounds. You have to be able to get up and get back to your corner.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's the same
eventually she could. But
well, like they said, if that's a knockout, if that's a punch, and she was getting up acting like that, that's waved off. They literally waved that fight off. So just because it was a choke and she was coming back to, I mean, at one point he kind of helps her steady herself. That it should be the same. Like, she literally could barely walk. She couldn't barely get back to her corner. That should have been stopped. Then she gets knocked out in the second.
Mauled in the second.
It was like she got choked out, knocked out, and a decision.
TKO'd and won a decision. The trifecta. I forget who tweeted me that, but yeah, had the trifecta.
That's even more impressive than Matt Lindland losing to Bustamante twice. She lost 3 times in the same fight. New record, baby. World record. Anything else that we want to add on this?
No.
Nah.
Still haven't won a bet. I had Max and Justin under 4.5. and I had Whaley inside the distance. So that's how my night was trending heading into the main event.
But then
Right there with you, Bradley. Exact same. This was the only bet I won.
And then everything goes right at the end. Wes, I know you got a couple comments of like, easy to say that after the fact, but I'm pretty sure anyone can go back to what we had said last week, and we were frankly befuddled by the line in this one. I ended up going 4 units. Sean, I think you had 3. Wes,
Only 3.
I know you had a boatload on Pereira as well, and he did everything that we hoped he would. It was
And
glorious.
quickly. It was
Yes.
amazing.
Especially like it was a great card.
We
It was
needed it.
fucking late at the end of these, man.
There's nothing.
Well, there's 3
better than
5-round
getting-
fights. I mean, this was the third, and the other 2 went to decision.
The other 2 went
Well,
the distance,
basically.
basically.
Yeah.
There's nothing
So-
better than when the main goes that way. You're on the guy, you got a lot of money, and he knocks the dude out quickly. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was glorious. We got a shit ton of new MMA meme material, and
Yeah.
couldn't have to a
Yeah,
better
just
guy.
like, here's the nuggets, motherfucker. Like,
Oh,
dude, that was so good.
The
Him waving
garage,
Herb off. That
so
was so
good.
good.
So good. Just multiple 2 in 1. Yeah, the garage has been great for us, long term and short term as well. Didn't get the line. There was lots of people that loved Hill. Those
Tons.
people, I didn't get it. Still don't get it. We'll never get it. I don't think Jamal Hill is anything special. It's just he fights a light heavyweight and he's athletic.
Yep.
Yeah, and then like you can be athletic and all that, and it's like it's true though. Like I said it after the fight, one dude lives and dies this shit. Like lives and dies this shit. The other dude was ringside constantly with a drink in his hand. He's drunk and getting into fucking fights with his brother and shit. Like that's the kind of life that Jamal Hill is leading, and Pereira is at home on his riding lawnmower and then driving over to Glover's and beating people up all day. You know, like that's what that guy's
in a river.
Yeah, I mean it's just 2 different levels of dude. Like, I mean,
Also, the matchup. Like,
Yeah,
this
then-
dude wasn't gonna grapple.
No.
We're taking a elite world-class kickboxer with
Take-
4 rounds gloves.
take out all the narrative shit. Take all of that out of it. You have one of the best light heavyweight, middleweight kickboxers of the past however many years, Glory multiple time champion and shit, and you're gonna give us like -130 against Jamal in a kickboxing match. We know Jamal Hill is gonna come out there and man, just the nut shot to waving Herb off to right into the left hand. And dude,
I forgot about that.
that's just great, man. That
No.
what a moment. And then like to wave Herb off, drop the left on him, ground and pound to the fucking sea. I told you, motherfucker. Like that was great. What an ending to a tremendous card, man. And like Pereira, if that man wants to go fight Tom Aspinall, I'm perfectly fine with that. Give him whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Well,
Yeah.
especially when they're just gonna delay fucking the Jones Stipe fight.
Yeah,
like,
Jones-
you know, when the
he's
hell
not-
that's gonna happen. Aspinall wants
John's
to
never
fight.
fighting.
I mean, I guess you give him some heavyweight, but like,
That's
man,
a
if Pereira
massive
wants
fight.
it, let him
That's a
have
ma-
it. Like,
that's a
fuck, what are we
massive
doing
fight.
here?
Like Dana, his fucking little dick gets hard over anything like double champ. Could you imagine him like triple champ? Could you imagine him running around on every show? Well, we got the real triple. And I mean, all honesty, if Pereira does that, if he goes up like everybody I saw that night after it was mentioned is all like, oh, Tom Aspinall knocks that guy out. Tom Aspinall. I'm like, are y'all sure about that? Are y'all really sure about that? if Pereira goes up there and knocks out Tom Aspinall and has some form of the heavyweight title, 3 belts, what do you say about this guy? Literally, he's already in this, what is it, like 8 or 9 fights now? Like multiple title defenses, double titles. Insane, man. And give it to him. I'm fucking so down for that. So down. What's he doing at light heavyweight? Really, what the fuck's he doing down there? What's going on at like?
Yeah, like I guess Ankalaev, but does anybody really give a fuck? I don't think so.
No. Is Ankalaev? Isn't he retired? Does he fight?
I don't know if he actually fights.
I mean, that's another guy that can barely get a
Yuri would be fun. Right? We know that, but like, man, nothing else is interesting in that division at all.
That's a huge fight, though, man.
Alonzo Menafield is still ranked at light heavyweight.
Oh, that's wild.
Like,
I mean, Jamal Hill just got plastered, and he's probably still top 3 or 4. Like he moves nowhere.
He's third,
even after dying. Like,
yeah,
the fuck, man.
Yeah. So something at heavyweight. I mean, there's also more grapplers at heavyweight than there is at light heavyweight right now. Like a Pereira Jailman fight.
Oh Lord, that would not be
that's
good. Like
the most the UFC used some of those old 93 graphics. That's like the most 1993 fight that you could make right now. It's Pereira and the Jailman.
I'll pass. That's a hard pass.
Fascinating stuff. I'm a man of people, Sean.
With all the talk, I guess you got to go in and say, I've seen so many people saying UFC 300 is the greatest card they've ever seen, and
if that's true, feel a little sorry for you.
Yeah, I just wanted to like, so I sort of get it. So like anybody that was in attendance for that, that's probably the greatest card they've ever seen, because I think a lot of that boils down to where were you? What was the atmosphere? Who were you with? Those things matter. So like a bunch of pre-UFC 100 cards were probably my favorite cards, because that was when all my friends still watched it and we had house parties and just the atmosphere was different and everything. But as far as like, this isn't like it's one of. It's hard to say any like card is the greatest, but I think it is one of the greatest UFC cards. Now MMA cards is a little different, because there were pride cards that like one night tournament cards.
The tournament cards were just like,
you're not though. This card was not better than some of those. So overall MMA, no. UFC,
it's probably the best UFC card.
It could, I could hear that argument. Like
it was the deepest card they've ever put on. It didn't have the elite top end.
It delivered.
But
yeah,
how many of these fights were not good?
I mean, I have no.
The main event was probably as good as the result could have been.
Yep.
The co-main event was a good fight,
and it could have been over in the first round or the second round.
Yeah,
should have been. Maybe
it was the Aljo
third fight on the card had one of the most ridiculous moments in MMA history.
Yep.
Fourth was a great fight, and then like, you know, you get into some stuff like the nickel fight, sure, whatever. It was pay-per-view, building a prospect sort of fight. That's part of what goes into a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yuri's fight was great.
Ridiculous.
Like everything kind of mattered on this card.
Yep.
Which is such a stark contrast from what we normally see from the UFC these days, where literally nothing matters on any of the cards. So
yeah, it was just top end. Like
it's up there.
If it has like some like I love the main event, but if it has like a big superstar John Jones, Conor McGregor type main event, then it is hands down all-time greatest UFC card. But I get it has an argument. That's how good it was. It absolutely delivered.
Very, very rarely do these cards that are as hyped up as they are deliver as much as this one did.
When they get it, like when the UFC gets it like this, when they build it like this, when it delivers like this, nothing better on this planet, man. Nothing.
You know,
Sir.
it doesn't even have to be to the like. Obviously, it can't be to this degree every time because then they put on 3 cards a year.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, just give me strong main cards. I don't need like former champions all down the prelims and everything like that. Give me a strong main card.
No,
That's
I mean
all care about.
they had to stack this one. It was 300, and now we're gonna pay for it. But I mean, going forward with the pay-per-views, just have good main cards. Good main cards.
I think the Apex hurts it a lot too, though. It makes it even
It
worse.
just makes it feel so much worse because
Yeah.
the lows are so much lower.
Yep.
Than
If you would put some of these quote unquote bad cards in a building with an audience, it wouldn't seem as bad. It seriously would not seem as bad. The Apex makes
just
it
like
feel
any
worse.
sort of fan reaction does the trick.
Not 500 people, you know, an actual crowd. You know what I'm saying?
we can go back to COVID times. How great was the NBA Finals when there was nobody in there? How good was the hockey when there was where there's nobody in the building? Sports needs fans. Creates atmosphere. Creates things. It's amazing.
And nothing like fighting. I don't think any sport creates an atmosphere like fighting either. It's you just never know.
It can't like snowball quite like fighting does.
Yep. Just
like
on
get something crazy early on the card, and like the crowd gets into it, and then they're just like waiting for the next thing. And you know, usually you have a local fighter or two that really gets the crowd into it, even if their fights aren't the greatest. And yeah, there's so many variables that go into it.
And can't even like begin to start getting into going international, like go to the UK or any of those places like that. And it's like UFC 300 Vegas crowd all night long. Like anytime they go UK or anywhere overseas, and those crowds are just nuts. We don't get much
Brazil
of that.
Crowds always show up early.
The Mexico crowds they had were fucking nuts.
I had to specifically say it was the earliest that I've seen a Vegas crowd show up, because I've seen other crowds show up real early. But I don't know I think we've talked ourselves out of UFC 300s. We'll figure out what we're doing next. I know that it's a card that I can't think of any of the fighters that are on it right now. Nicolau and Alex Perez is the
it's rough when that's the main event. So there's some fun-ish fighters, action fighters on the card. So
you know what, Sean?
Some knockouts.
They say that it's the cards that you least expect that always deliver the bangers. That is what they say.
I'll DVR.
Which,
like,
you can also go to your local fighting events and see a bunch of sick knockouts, and I really won't give a shit because who are these people?
Highly recommend doing that though. Like if you haven't,
it's awesome violence, just nameless, faceless violence. Yeah, it's good.
Pretty much an Apex card at this point, except there's people there. So we'll be back next week breaking down. There's like 2 good fights on this card. Real fun stuff. We'll get to all of that next week. You don't need to hear from us right now. We appreciate you joining. Shooting bits and fights, and we'll see you next time around.